When I make Chardonnay, I'm not trying to make Chardonnay that tastes like Burgundy or whatever. It's a different climate and soil, it won't work. What you are trying to do is to make a best Niagara Chardonnay with the climate and soil we have. So it's nice to have inspiration when you start something, but after 25 or 30 years living here, I don't need that anymore. The less you touch wine, the better off you are. You know, you want to have the right grapes coming from your vineyard. The wine is made in the vineyard. When you have that right, you want to be as gentle as possible with your grapes and your wine all the way to bottling. Aromatics, it's all about aromatics, about complexity. Wine is about complexity, aromatics, intensity. That's what people should be interested in more than what variety, is that the right variety, varietal character? Research is important, which is maybe the science of it, but as well there is something you do by feeding experience, which are maybe the art part of it. And the art part of it is that we do not understand yet. There's many things we understand about wine. We're making progress. We're slowly getting all the aromatics one after the other discovered. Not only smell that, but when it comes to making wine, a lot is to do with tasting and smelling. The more you move into super premium wine, the more you are going to get into that art part of it. And wines are being made more and more by sensory tastings and smelling than anything else. So you have to have the base. You have to understand how grapes functions, how wine are being made, how yeast function. But it's just the base. After that, all what's above there and where you get to super premium wines is very much an art. Well, assemblage is definitely the way the world has been functioning until recently, and the world is still a good part of the world, which means Europe, is still functioning with the concept of assemblage, where you grow your grapes. The name of the location, the name of the village, of the region even, is more important than the name of the variety you are growing. So this is very old, it's still out there, and here in North America we have been kind of reformatted or retrained in thinking varietal only, which is valid because once people were given wines called Champagne or Burgundy, and whether or not Burgundy, neither Champagne. So they say, we want to know what we have in our bottle, and people, the winemakers, progressive winemaker at the time, say, sure, we'll tell you, if you write Chardonnay on the bottles, that's what it's called in the vineyard. That's fantastic. Except by doing that wonderful thing, we lost something which is very important, which is the art of assemblage of multiple varieties. And what's more important is your terroir, meaning your soil, your climate, the people who are working with it. That's more important than the variety you are using. If you are growing, let's say, a Chardonnay, and it's a bad year for Chardonnay, and next year is a good year for Chardonnay, well, you have to make Chardonnay, good or bad. If you are making an assemblage, you have a choice. You are going to pick within your terroir what seems to fit together better. And every year it might be different, because the climate is different, but it will keep consistency of quality year after year. My scientific brain says, oof, we never discovered what terroir is all about. Okay, we know there's different climate, there's different soil, but to make the link between that and the wine, and what the component in the wine, tough life. It doesn't work very well. There's few things we can link, but it's very few things. You know, people think, if you grow grapes on calcium soil, limestone, well, you are going to have a lot of lime in the wine. No, there's no lime in the wine. Oh, but it tastes like it. It tastes mineral. Okay, so that's coming, well, there is no link there. Scientifically, zero. Though everybody knows, everybody who makes wine, who enjoy wine, understand there is a terroir effect. So sure, when I start a project like Sangiovese, I say, well, okay, Sangiovese, but let me check what others do with Sangiovese in Italy. So that's a reference. But after a few years of making Sangiovese in Niagara, okay, it has its own personality. It will never taste like Sangiovese Italy, but it has Sangiovese character. It has the varietal character. Italian people tell you that. So that's good enough for me, but I'm not trying to imitate what's going on in Italy here neither. But you know, Niagara has to be its own dog. And it's unfortunately seen as an underdog, but we are our own dog, and we can make great wine that have been rewarded intentionally and will be more and more people are convinced about it. You could not think about selling a bottle of Niagara wine $15 only 20 years ago. Now these same wine are sold at $60, We have been improving ourselves in between, but I think what has been improving as well is our consumers' perception of the quality of our wines. So people always use abroad to be able to prove something, and it worked, by the way. You know, if we get a great award in France for a Canadian wine, people think, oh, that's worth it. But that's all about perception. We know ourselves that we can make great wines here for a long time. We just need to prove it to the rest of the world, or that it's clear to us.